Okay, so starting with the introduction part first.
So, hello Dhruv and hello everyone. Myself Divyam Singh and I'm from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. As you all know, I have been placed at Tredence as a data scientist. I was in civil engineering department in NIT Agartala. So today I'm here to share all my placement journey, how did I prepare for interview, what happened in the interview, etc. etc. First of all, thank you to Dhruv for inviting me to this platform. I believe it is a great initiative and it will really help students, not just the next batch, but many batches down the line who will take guidance from here and would be able to prepare better. So, yeah, thank you so much once again, Dhruv. And now, starting ahead with further questions you may ask.
Okay, Divyam, so tell us about your placement journey and how did you prepare for the same?
Okay, so when it comes to a placement journey, it is actually a bit different from others. While others were preparing in their summer vacation for the upcoming placement season, I was actually doing my internship with ICICI Bank with their data science and analytics group. I got this internship in my third year through an on campus opportunity. So while I was doing my internship, I was initially hoping that I would get my PPO, and because of that, I won't have to worry much about placements and stuff. But by the time my internship ended, there was no clear communication from ICC Bank regarding the PPO, whether they will give the interns PPO or not. So since it was a bit uncertain, so I thought I have to prepare for placements anyways. I did not have much time as others had, so I was at a naturally disadvantaged position. But thanks to the internship, I had something up my resume which I can show to the recruiters. Now, leveraging this would be a good opportunity for me. What I did was I started brushing up my knowledge for AI, ML, Python, SQL, etc. In the remaining few days that I had before college opened. When college opened, the first company that came, which I filled, was PhonePe. Unfortunately, I was not able to clear the written round, that is the OA, online assessment. So that was a kind of shock to me because I was initially hoping that I would get placed at PhonePe. But since I was not able to clear the OA, so I thought that I would move ahead with another company instead of being sad and wasting my time. So just 2-3 days after PhonePe, Tredence came. Initially, I was not very confident whether I would be able to clear the online assessment or not. But this time, the luck was on my side, and with the right conditions, I was able to crack the online assessment round. After the online assessment round, there was actually a short communication round that happened. The communication round was also very easy. Then the interview round came, which I will explain in detail in the next section of our discussion. But I just want to tell the viewers that my placement preparation journey was not very extensive. I had good knowledge of Python and SQL, but it was not curated in a way that I was, preparing for placements. All the knowledge that I had was the one which I was using during my internship. So that is all about my preparation.
Okay, Divyam, so tell us about your interview experience in Tredence.
Now, talking about the most important part, that is the interviews of the company. Initially, I thought that there would be only 2 technical rounds and 1 HR round, and I would be done with the company. But again, fate had some other plans. So the starting round, the first round was mostly about Python, where they were checking my basic Python knowledge. Also, my resume is filled with lots of extracurricular activities, whether it comes to debating MANs or technical activities like winning SIH and stuff. So the interviewer took some interest in it, and he started asking me that, tell me about your positions of responsibilities, and how was your SIH experience? What did you build? How did you build it? What was your thought process? How were you tackling some certain challenges? So the first interview, although went very well, but I was not too much confident on the Python questions which he was asking because some of them were confusing. So because of that, I felt that I might not clear the first round, but again, the luck was on my side, and I cleared the first round. After that, the second round was with a higher official in the company. He was mainly focusing on machine learning algorithms and also some basics of Python. Now, since that round did not involve any coding and stuff, so I was able to clear it with ease. Although the questions which were asked were a lot, he was trying to gauge that what kind of speaking abilities I have, and if I'm able to communicate the solutions which I have in mind clearly or not. So it was kind of a good round, and I must mention that the interviewers of Tredence were very friendly and they were very supportive. In if in case you are stuck somewhere, they would always help you and give you some hints. So that is very kind of them. So after the second interview, I thought I'm done with technical interviews, and now I'll focus on preparing for the HR round. But again, a recruiter came and he said that he wants to call me for the third technical round. And now that did not happen to anyone else, but I was not sure why was it happening. When I went inside, he started asking me about my internship. So they just wanted to verify whether my internship was correct or not. So I told him whatever I knew. He asked about internship. I told him in great detail. Then he was asking a bit about Azure Databricks. I prepared something about Azure Databricks in advance. Like one day before, I was watching a lecture on it. Although I did not complete it full, I watched it like 1.5 hours. So whatever I learned in that 1.5 hours, I just explained everything to him. So he was quite satisfied with it. Then he gave me some SQL questions to solve. Basically, on the screen, he had a table, and in that table, he would have lots of rows and columns. He would just give me situations that, okay, find me customers who are in this city, earning above this pay scale, who are not in the defaulters list, etc. So he was giving me a scenario, and I had to write the query, SQL query. It was not much of a difficult round, but all these 3 rounds were particularly very long. So if you're not very well prepared, or if you're not confident enough, you might get stuck somewhere. That is not an issue getting stuck, but it kind of makes you nervous. Although it did not happen with me, but for viewers who are watching, who are trying to appear for an interview, you can keep this in handy, that even if the interview is very long, you have to maintain your composure. So after the third round, I was selected for the HR round. When I went for the HR round is personally my strength, where I don't think I face any difficulty whatsoever. The HR was prepared with lots of googly questions, where she was trying to make me feel underconfident. She was trying to make me nervous, and she was trying to see whether she can break my shell or not. Because usually when you come for HR interviews, there are candidates who have memorized certain answers, like what are your strength and weakness, etc. So since I was giving a bit of different answers, and she was pretty impressed by it, and she said that she is quite happy and satisfied, she would forward my recommendation to the team, and thanks to that, I was selected. So this is how the 4 rounds of my interview went. Overall, it was a very good experience, although very tiring and very daunting. But still, if you are prepared enough, and if you have confidence in yourself, you can easily prepare and crack the interview rounds, because the interviewers particularly are very good. So yeah, that is it.
So, what is the one piece of advice you would like to share with our junior batch?
So an advice for juniors. Actually, when it comes to placements and specifically interviews, there are so many things that are happening that you cannot pinpoint a particular instance and say that these are the certain set of advices which you should follow. But still, I'll try my best to tell you what to do. I believe interviews are not about 100% accuracy. Interviews are not checking whether you know everything or not. Interview is about a mix of how good of a knowledge you possess and how well you are able to communicate it. So if you are able to balance these two things, I believe that even if you are not able to answer a certain things in interview, you will still qualify the interview and pass it with flying colors. Because ultimately, interviewer also knows that you are someone who has just crossed BTech. You're about to cross BTech. You're about to complete your 4 years. It is not fair to expect everything from you, that you would know every answer to every technical question which they might ask. But if you have a right enough attitude, and if you know how to present yourself, if you know how to answer and evade certain questions and be honest at times that sorry sir, I don't know this, etc. So that leaves a pretty good impression. And if you have a good impression in the mind of the interviewer, you will ultimately qualify the interview, even if you have not spoken or answered 2 or 3 questions. So don't stress too much whether you should answer everything, but instead focus on the fact that you have to be genuine in the interview. You have to show yourself as someone who is smart, who can solve different set of problems, and who is not crushed by situations where your patience and your willpower is being tested. Now that is some philosophical advice that I give. Now if it comes to practicing questions, specifically for SQL, I can tell, try to practice as much scenario questions as possible, because that will really bring out your ability to think out of the box and think in real case scenarios, instead of just relying on 2 or 3 line questions. When it comes to Python, I believe NumPy is not as relevant as Pandas, so focus more on preparing Pandas for interviews. And when it comes to AI/ML specifically, in data science, see, the field is rapidly evolving. You have machine learning, deep learning, Gen AI, and agentic AI. And 2-3 years down the line, you don't know what next will come. So it is you're not expected to know everything. It is just that you get your basics right, know ML algorithms, know some good use cases which you can apply in real life, specifically the new technology which is coming, like retrieval augmented learning, RAG. So in RAG also there are now various combinations. You're combining RAG with agentic AI. So these kind of technology you should be aware with. And if interview is asking certain problem, that if there is a real life challenge of this particular scenario, that how you will be able to tackle it with machine learning or agentic AI, then you must have certain practical examples which you can give, so that interviewer knows that you have genuine interest in this field. So that is all. But beyond this, I don't think they will ask a lot, because machine learning and deep learning agentic AI is also very research dominated fields. So a lot of people which you will find here are pursuing PhD or doing higher studies. So don't worry too much about going in depth in these fields. Just have your basics right, know all the algorithms, and just prepare enough to crack the interviews, and don't bother beyond that, because as you work in the field with 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of experience, you will learn things on the go. So yeah, that is all I have to say to my juniors.